For what has seemed like a millennia, Pro Apex teams have all followed a similar team comp. That was the Valkyrie, Gibby, Caustic team comp that we're all so familiar with. Valkyrie for rotations, Gibby for safe micro rotations and bubble fights, and Caustic only because if everybody's running Caustic, you have to as well. That meta stayed consistent until the Raleigh Championships when Furia showed the Pro League exactly how powerful Seer and Horizon are. Some teams adopted the Furia Ape comp right away, but many of them just dropped Caustic in favor of Seer. They realized that Caustic is really good at holding space, but not really good at fighting. Seer's the exact opposite. He is really good at fighting, but not that great at holding space. If you're able to win fights consistently, it doesn't matter what space you're able to hold. Eventually, when the aggressive meta died down slightly, a lot of the Furia Ape comp teams opted to revert back to the more safe Valk Gibby Seer comp. However, that championship in July was a monumental moment for the Pro League meta. It was the first time that Gibby showed any sort of weakness in the meta. Over the next 5 months, teams slowly realized something about Gibby. Gibby is kind of like a parachute. He is really good at resolving bad situations. If you're in a bad position, you can bubble. If somebody on your team gets destroyed, you can bubble. If you need a semi-isolated fight, bubble. All of those are really bad situations where Gibby is your parachute and sort of gets you out of them sometimes. But you know what's better than needing a parachute? Not jumping out of the plane. The current Gibby-less meta is some of the most diverse we've ever seen. For pro teams that play zone, a couple of really strong options have emerged. Number one is the Valk Watson Newcastle comp that was really popularized by 100 Thieves. This comp almost won them the championships. And then a more recently but very popular comp is the Crypto Watson Valkyrie, popularized by the Guard recently. Crypto in particular has been a very recent emergence because the Guard has been showing with safe zone information every single game. It just leads to center zone situations and automatic top 5s. If you watch the Guard play, Arcan is able to get a very safe beacon right away, and then throughout the game they're able to get themselves in a situation where they're able to reach beacon very safely every single game. I'd expect the Guard to continue to do well. For more edge or fighting style teams, the Ape comp of Valk Horizon Seer is still very viable, and it's probably the most popular one on Stormpoint. On World's Edge, some teams have even mixed Fuse in for Horizon. There's also something really interesting happening with Valkyrie right now as well. Teams are realizing that so many teams are Valk ulting into zone, it's pretty possible that you can just walk in. If you're able to find a safe rotation, you can add so much fighting potential to your team. Not to mention, since the nerf, people are getting very, very good at shooting Valkyries out of the sky. It really seems like a lot of the times, if a team had just walked in instead of Valk ulted, they would have remained alive. The most recent Valkless comp that I've seen succeed is the Seer Horizon Bangalore on Stormpoint, or even, if you want to go as far on both maps even, you can go Seer Bloodhound Bangalore. Those are really aggressive teams that are designed to fight their way into zone instead of just Valk ulting and panic ulting, honestly. Another cool thing about this meta is that the teams that are the best at the Gibby Caustic Valkyrie are still finding success. For example, LG and Optic are some of the best Gibby Caustic Valk teams all Pro League, and they're still succeeding because Gibby and Caustic get better as there's less of them in the lobby. Something that should also be said about my main Loba, because she is being utilized in Valk Watson Loba team comps. It's essentially you are able to loot very fast or not even at all, get to center zone, and then put down ult as much as possible to siphon loot. If you're able to sponge all the loot as teams die around you, you can absolutely destroy teams and really have no issues with loot despite not looting at all. When I say this is the most diverse meta we've ever seen, I'm not lying. There's some really cool ones out there. Aurora's ultimate stomp comp is Maggie Bloodhound Seer, and even more recently they've been running Wraith Caustic Maggie and Bloodhound Bang Catalyst. That's crazy. As you know, Aurora loves to shove, so if you're looking for the most cutting-edge fighting team comp, always make your first look towards Aurora. This current meta has been some of the most fun to watch for me since the Wraith Watson Pathfinder meta. If your gun skill is good enough, any legend you can succeed on. I'm genuinely a nerd about this kind of stuff, but I hope you enjoyed. Huge shout out to Vagabond Caleb for suggesting this topic. It is very, very cool and it's so interesting. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing.